Stop. Before you open that next bag of chicken feed, you need to hear this. Because right now, sitting in a simple bucket of water in your own backyard, something is growing that can replace up to 30% of that expensive feed for free. It doubles egg production. It's been used by farmers for centuries, and almost nobody in this country is talking about it. Stop. Before you open that next bag of commercial chicken feed, you need to hear this. What if the secret to doubling your egg production wasn't found in a store? What if it was sitting in a bucket of water in your own backyard, growing for free, doubling in size every 2 days, packed with more protein than most of what you're paying for right now? Today, we're bringing back a forgotten feed crop that subsistence farmers around the world have relied on for generations. It's called Azolla. Some people call it water velvet. Some call it water fern. Your chickens are going to call it dinner. And by the time this video is done, you're going to understand exactly why your hens have been missing it, and exactly how to start growing it today with nothing more than a plastic container and a few cups of water. Stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I'm going to show you the one step most people get completely wrong when they start their first batch, and it costs them everything. Let's talk about what's actually in that bag. Commercial poultry feed has become one of the fastest rising costs for backyard flock owners in the United States. Since 2021, the average price of a 50-pound bag of layer pellets has jumped more than 40%. For a family flock of just 10 hens, that is hundreds of dollars every single year, and climbing. Let's talk about what's actually in that bag. Commercial poultry feed has become one of the fastest rising costs for backyard flock owners in the United States. Since 2021, the average price of a 50-pound bag of layer pellets has jumped more than 40%. For a family flock of just 10 hens, that is hundreds of dollars every single year, and it's still climbing. But here's the part they never put on the label. Most commercial feed is cooked, compressed, and stored for months before it ever reaches your coop. The living nutrients, the active enzymes, the natural carotenoids, the fresh amino acid chains, are largely degraded by the time your hens eat it. You're paying top price for a nutritionally depleted product. What chickens naturally thrive on is living food, fresh, bioavailable, the kind that turns pale yolks into deep orange ones, the kind that strengthens eggshells so they don't crack in your hand, the kind that keeps hens laying strong through every season. That is what Azolla delivers, and you know the commercial feed industry has no incentive to tell you that. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. It's just a water plant. But stay with me because the science behind what this plant does inside your hen is going to genuinely surprise you. Okay, so let's get into the science behind why Azolla actually works. There's a lot of curiosity out there, and honestly, it's for good reason. The evidence is pretty compelling once you dig into the details. Here is what the research actually shows. And I want to be precise, because your comment section has been asking exactly the right questions about this. The protein power. On a dry matter basis, Azolla contains approximately 25 to 35% crude protein. That is directly comparable to soybean meal, one of the most expensive protein ingredients in commercial layer feed. Some field samples from tropical climates have measured as high as 37%. The protein is real. The data is consistent across multiple countries and peer-reviewed sources. Now, I know the question that just came to mind for many of you watching right now. I've seen it in the comments dozens of times, but isn't Azolla mostly water? Yes. Fresh, harvested Azolla is roughly 90 to 95% water by weight. That is the complete truth. And that is exactly why this question matters, and because the answer changes everything. When you remove all that water from Azolla, what remains is the dry matter. And that concentrated dry matter is extraordinarily nutrient-dense. We are talking about essential amino acids, including lysine and methionine, the 2 amino acids most critical for egg production, and most commonly deficient in homemade or scratch-based feeds. Beta-carotene, the natural pigment that gives egg yolks that deep, rich orange color. That color is not cosmetic, it is a direct, visible indicator of nutritional quality inside the egg. When your customers or your family see that yolk, they know they are eating something real. Calcium and phosphorus, the 2 minerals most responsible for dense, strong, crack-resistant eggshells. Iron, magnesium, and zinc, trace minerals that support immune function and reproductive health in laying hens year-round. And here is what makes Azolla uniquely valuable compared to processed plant proteins. It is alive when your hen eats it. The nutrients are bioavailable. Your hen's digestive system can access and absorb them immediately, not strain through months-old compressed meal. Studies from India, the Philippines, and West Africa, regions where Azolla has been used in small-scale poultry farming for decades, consistently document improvements in egg production rates, yolk color score, and shell density when Azolla replaces 15 to 30% of commercial feed. 15 to 30%. Think about what that means over the course of a year. Now I know the natural next question. How much of this do you actually need to grow to feed a real flock? Stay with me, because the bucket method I'm about to show you is simpler than anything else you've tried, and you can have your first harvest in less than a week. You do not need a pond, you do not need a greenhouse, you do not need any special equipment. Here is exactly what to gather before you start. What you'll need is one shallow container. That could be a plastic storage tote, an old kiddie pool, or even a wide 5-gallon bucket. Surface area matters more than depth, so aim for at least 4 to 6 square feet of water surface per small flock of 6 to 8 hens. You'll also want dechlorinated water. Just let tap water sit uncovered for 24 hours, or, use collected rainwater if you have it. Next up, an Azolla starter culture. You can find these from aquatic plant suppliers online, or maybe even source it directly from a local pond. Partial shade is important. Azolla really grows best in indirect or filtered sunlight. Direct midday sun in summer heat will bleach it out and stall growth, so keep that in mind. And finally, a small amount of liquid fertilizer. Spree Chu Chasters. Some diluted compost tea that's our trial steam once per week is all it needs. Step 1. Set up your container. Go ahead and fill your container with about 3 to 4 inches of water. Let it rest for 24 hours if you're using tap water. Add 1 tablespoon of liquid fish fertilizer per 10 gallons of water. This provides the phosphorus Azolla needs to kick off rapid early growth. Step 2. Introduce your starter culture. Place roughly 1 cup of Azolla onto the water surface. Don't crowd it. Under ideal conditions, Azolla doubles its biomass every 2 to 3 days, so give it room to spread. Step 3. Position for optimal growth. Aim for morning sun and afternoon shade. Consistent temperatures between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit are the sweet spot. Keep the container protected from heavy wind. Azolla is buoyant and delicate, it doesn't anchor itself. Step 4. Harvest without depleting your source. This is the step that determines whether your system thrives or honestly, collapses. Do not harvest everything at once. The rule is simple and it does not change. Harvest no more than 1/3 of your total Azolla mat on any given day. Use a fine mesh strainer or just scoop with your hands. Rinse the harvested Azolla lightly with clean water to remove any debris or surface residue. What remains regenerates within 48 to 72 hours. This is your living, self-renewing factory. Harvest it like a garden, not like a bag of feed. For weekly maintenance, just add a small amount of liquid fertilizer once a week. Also, you'll want to replace about 1/5 of the water every 10 days to help prevent any mineral buildup. And, during the winter months, bring your container indoors near a bright window, or place it under a standard grow light to keep the temperature and light exposure just right. And, well, that's the entire system. Okay, so now let's talk about what actually happens the first time your flock gets a taste. Most backyard flock owners report the same reaction. The hens go for it immediately. There really is no adjustment period, no hesitation at all. Chickens are just drawn to fresh, living food instinctively. It's honestly what their biology expects. To get started, mix Azolla into their regular feed. A 15% inclusion rate by weight is a smart starting point. Over 2 to 3 weeks you can increase that gradually up to about 25 to 30% of their total daily ration as your harvest grows and your hens adjust. Now, let's talk about what actually happens the first time your flock gets a taste. Most backyard flock owners report the same reaction. The hens go for it immediately. There is no adjustment period, no hesitation. Chickens are drawn to fresh, living food instinctively. It's what their biology expects. Start by mixing Azolla into their regular feed. A 15% inclusion rate by weight is a smart starting point. Over 2 to 3 weeks you can increase that gradually up to 25 to 30% of their total daily ration as your harvest grows and your hens adjust. Here is what to expect in order. Egg yolk color changes first. Within 10 to 14 days, you will begin to see the yolk deepening from yellow toward orange gold. That is the beta-carotene working. It's not just cosmetic, it is proof that your hen is metabolizing real nutrition. Eggshell quality improves next. Around weeks 3 to 4, shells become noticeably harder and smoother. The calcium and phosphorus from the Azolla dry matter are doing exactly what they were designed to do. Egg production rate follows. Peer-reviewed field trials and documented small farm studies consistently show production improvements of 15 to 30% in hens fed Azolla at 25 to 30% feed replacement compared to commercial-only controls. Those of you watching right now whose hens have been slowing down in production, write that down. Living protein, fresh minerals, real carotenoids, that is the combination your flock has been missing. And, before I close this out, I want to leave you with something worth thinking about. This isn't just about cutting your feed bill, it's about returning your chickens to the kind of nutrition their systems were built for, and nature has already grown it for you. So, as we wrap this up, just remember, making even small changes in how you feed your flock can lead to big improvements in their health and your wallet. It's really about taking that first step, trying something new, and seeing the results for yourself. The commercial feed industry wants you dependent. It wants you walking into a store, paying more every season, accepting less nutrition every year, and never once questioning whether there is a better way. What we covered today proves the better way has been floating on ponds and backyard buckets for centuries. Azolla costs almost nothing to start. It grows faster than your hens can eat it. It delivers living, bioavailable nutrition that no bag of compressed pellets can replicate. And it asks almost nothing from you in return. You do not need a farm. You do not need a perfect setup. You need a container, some water, a handful of starter culture, and about 10 minutes a week. Start with one tub. Watch the yolk color shift. Watch your production numbers climb. Then you'll know exactly what I know, that your backyard already has everything your flock needs. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried growing your own chicken feed? Azolla, duckweed, sprouts, fermented grain, anything. Drop your results in the comments below. Tell me what worked, what failed, and what your hens actually ate without hesitation. If this gave you something real to act on, share this video with someone who keeps chickens. They need this information. Subscribe to Health Quest, because this is just the beginning of what your backyard can do for your food, your health, and your independence. Oh, and just a quick reminder. Introduce all new feed components gradually and monitor your flock's response closely. For large or commercial operations, it's best to consult a licensed poultry nutritionist.